This video is sponsored by Catapult. Welcome to Thymesia video review. Remember that every review is subjective in the end, no matter how objectively I try to dissect every aspect of every game. So what is Thymesia? It is Souls-like game that draws inspiration from more than one From Software title and tries to combine it into something special. Does it succeed though? Well, not gonna spoil it now for fuck's sake, otherwise what is the point in writing and editing reviews, you ADD bastards? Important to note is that I played the game for about 20 hours, beaten it thoroughly and unlocked all endings. Price is $30 or euros, which needs to be considered when giving final score. Let's start with story, lore, writing, characters and so on. Story has interesting premise that revolves around alchemical experiments from people that have different outlooks on world around them. Some want to create uber-humans, some want to cure the plague and so on. Story presentation is unfortunately quite weak, and not much will hook you to find answers and dig through many document collectibles. Tried reading it all through first world but gave up to focus on more fun stuff, as there were too many notes that added nothing to overall story. No cutscenes, dramatic conversations or cool boss interactions that would deepen the story and create meaningful relations between few characters that are present in the game. Corvus' main character is transformed person. Transformed are rare successes of alchemical experiments that are far more capable than normal humans. Corvus lost all of his memories, so now he needs to recall important things about experiments in order to provide final alchemical solution at the end of game. As I said, story is not bad, but it lacks proper presentation and characters that would suck you in. Character progression revolves around 3 attributes and talents. Attribute increase affects health, saber damage and claw damage, as basic as it gets. Talents on the other hand are more interesting, as they improve Corvus abilities like easier deflection, energy restoration through claw attacks, crit air counters and many more. Talents can be switched around whenever without the need for special items that would allow it. That means different setups on the fly. Not a bad concept at all, as bosses require a bit different approach at times. Interesting thing is that this game has introduced 3 different acting potions. First is typical potion with slow animation, second is regeneration potion, and third has faster animation but restores less health. Various potion types are a great addition to Souls games, and I quite like it as different potions complement different playstyles. Time to mention gameplay and combat. Combat is by far best aspect of Thymesia. It combines Sekiro and Bloodborne, for the lack of better explanation. Parry is extremely important, not only because it negates damage, but it also damages the attacker, so players have good incentive to learn how to parry. There are talents that make parry more effective damage-wise, and another tree that enables much easier parry but with less damage done. I really like these parry upgrades, as it gives players rarely seen flexibility with parry system to reward skill, while also providing option for less skilled players that are struggling a bit and need more practice. Great thinking there, devs. What is interesting about damaging enemies and how health works is the fact saber attacks only open up wounds, which are then confirmed with claw attacks, for the lack of better explanation. Claw and saber attacks can also be modified a bit. For example, claws can be made longer or shorter with added benefits. Combat is fast-paced and has good amount of mechanics that add enough depth so it never gets boring. Mechanics like throwing feathers to counter crit attacks and reaving plague weapons from enemies. Plague weapons are biggest diversity factor, as there are many to choose from and there are boss versions too. Plague weapons can be reaved from enemies for one-time use, and each can be unlocked permanently to equip after reaving or grabbing enough shards. They can be also upgraded for additional benefits and movesets that add more depth to playstyles. Playstyle is mainly relative to plague weapon choice and default moves modification. Thanks to great combat and weapon choices, you won't get bored with Thymesia anytime soon, even through its short length, which is about 10 to 15 hours for first playthrough with all side missions completed. Bosses are hit and miss. Human bosses are fantastic to battle against, but large bosses are boring, to be honest. Out of 7 bosses, 4 are human thankfully, and some of them are really tough but fun to battle against. Killing same bosses over and over again grants shards that upgrade boss weapons, so there is incentive to battle them over and over again and not just for fun. Enemy variety isn't much in terms of aesthetics, but it is in terms of weapons, as each enemy wields one of plague weapons that you can reave and farm for shards. In terms of difficulty, enemies are divided into 3 tiers as far as I've noticed. Basic undead looking weaker enemies, medium difficulty armored ones, and high difficulty armored ones, with tough enemies that are quite challenging and drop alchemy enhancers that upgrade potions. Weakest part of Thymesia are locations and mission structure. Mission structure is like Neo, so really bad. Basically run through each location from start to finish and then click sub quests from many that are going to take you to exact same locations with different goal. Very uninspiring, especially considering how bland all the locations are. Not much to explore either, as areas are quite linear with maze-like structure at times when it comes to shortcuts. Problem is that almost every room and corridor looks similar, so hard to get your bearings, which can be frustrating. Little exploration that Thymesia has doesn't feel rewarding, as the only thing you'll find are more documents. Audio is alright, nothing special, music is okay and sound effects are quite good. Visuals are average, but considering this isn't a AAA game, no wonders there. Animations are great though. Only thing that bothered me are enemies on ice skates. Final verdict is that Thymesia nailed combat, some parts of character progression and most bosses, but it falls flat with story presentation, some boring boss fights and bland and uninspiring locations. There are also a couple bugs that are going to get patched probably on release date already. My score is 6 out of 10, which translates to decent above average game with inability to reach higher scores no matter what, because I don't see them redoing world and locations, which would influence the score significantly. Remember, game is $30 or euros, so you don't pay full price, which makes purchasing Thymesia far more justifiable, even if it's short game, but great combat is going to drag you in until all weapons have been unlocked and tried. Thanks for watching, and check out description for Patreon and subscribe star links if you want to help the channel further.